Does liberation mean you will become all-knowing by Krishna's mercy? Sthaneneha na naha karyam vrajamo nyan mahavanam utpata bahvo hya atra drishyante nashahetavah putanaya vinashascha shakatasya viparyayah vina vata didoshena drumayoh patnam tatha Vrindavanam ithasthanat tasmad gacham machiram yavad bhauma mahotpad dosho nabhibhaved vrajam. Quote, "It is not proper to remain in this place. Let us go to another great forest, as here we have seen numerous calamities which are causes of ruin, the destruction of Putana and the reversal of the cart, and similarly the falling of the trees without the intervention of the wind. Therefore let us without delay depart from Gokula to Vrindavana, where the earthly calamities will not overpower us." Vishnu Purana 5.6.22-24.
Listen, I think we have contradictory principles here in what I am about to present. This is not one of your Venn diagrams, where it is a good thing to have overlapping groups or divisions. I think there is one truth or principle. There is another truth, and the two do not mix, except that the two supposedly exist in unison based on the promises made. Before you think I am off my rocker, the subject matter is the promise in the discipline of Bhakti Yoga. What makes this specific carve-out of Sanatana Dharma special is that you are rising above duality. Think in higher terms. Rise above good and bad. As Goswami Tulsidas explains, that duality is created by the illusion of Hari, which is one name for God. Only the same Hari can remove that illusion. Hari Maya Krit Dosh Gun Binu Hari Bhajan Na Jahi Bhajiya Ram Sab Kam Tajiyas Bichari Manmahi. Quote, "Good and bad, which are part of the illusion created by Hari, cannot be removed without worshipping Hari. Keeping this in mind, worship Rama and renounce all desires." Dohavali 127. This means that in Bhakti Yoga, we want more than just our daily bread. We will not settle for elevation to a higher realm, like heaven. We actually do not mind where we will go, as long as we can continue with our devotion. This mood is pure bhakti. This is liberation because we are no longer bound by conditions. It does not matter if I am living in beautiful, sunny South Florida, or in the Arctic frost of some Canadian town no one has ever heard of. As long as I am within bhakti, I am okay. I am liberated. That is the first principle. The second one relates to our eternal nature. The Sanskrit is Sat Chidananda. We are eternal, blissful, and knowledgeable. The same properties are there in God, but with a notable distinction. His features never get covered up. He is never vulnerable to illusion. We are jiva precisely because we can toggle between enlightenment and ignorance. We can fall into the cycle of birth and death. Liberation is our return to the natural order. This is the reason His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, describes the goal of Bhakti Yoga as going back to Godhead. All right, so shouldn't that mean people in the liberated state are knowledgeable? Shouldn't that mean they know things as they are? How then do you explain the decision of the elderly cowherd men in Gokula during the time of Krishna Lila? They could not understand the recent falls. They would not accept the explanation of the children that baby Krishna had knocked down a handcart using his tiny feet. They would not believe that Damodar, who is Krishna tied to a mortar, was able to bring down 2 tall trees. This is ignorance, right? And these people are in the liberated state, right? They are directly associating with Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna chose to live with them. It is not the other way around. It is not like Nanda and the other leaders traveled to Vaikuntha and brought Vishnu down with them. These people were blessed. How come they were ignorant as to the truth then? They were so worried that they used the danger as a pretext for moving to Vrindavan.
This is an opportunity to pivot into the timeless controversy between the Vaishnavas and the Mayavadis. Both groups reference similar works of the Vedic tradition, such as Vedanta Sutra and Bhagavad-gita. Both groups understand the Advaita principle, which is non-duality. The difference is the Mayavadis conclude that everything is Maya, that there is essentially no distinct God. Everyone is Brahman. They simply have to realize it. That is the purpose of spiritual life, to elevate to the Brahman platform. Ihav terjit sargo yesha samya sthitam mana nirdosham hi samam brahm tasmad brahmani te sthita. Quote, those whose minds are established in sameness and equanimity have already conquered the conditions of birth and death. They are flawless like Brahman, and thus they are already situated in Brahman. Lord Krishna, Bhagavad-gita 5:19. The Vaishnava says that Advaita and Dvaita exist simultaneously without overlapping or contradicting each other. Since this is practically impossible to conceive, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refers to the final conclusion as Chintya Beda Beda Tattva. There is oneness and distinction. The distinction is that even if the individual returns to their identity as Brahman, they will never become all-knowing, all-powerful, or even the origin of everything. These properties belong exclusively to Para-Brahman, or the highest truth. The elderly cowherd men were indeed liberated to have the benediction of Krishna living in their community as their most beloved son. At the same time, there was an illusion at work. It was the auspicious kind going by the name Yog Maya. This is what kept Yashoda from realizing that her son was the most powerful individual. If she knew that Krishna was God, how could she offer loving service? There was urgency. There was pressure. There was concern. The love was so pure that Krishna himself chose to live in that place under her protection. Who can be more fortunate than Yashoda as she subtly received the sanction of binding the Lord of the universe, Jagannatha, through the external cause of punishment for naughty behavior? Yadi shakanoshi gachatvam ati chanchal cheshtit Itya uktva cha nijam karma sa chakara kutumbini. Quote, O naughty child, now try going from here if you can. Having spoken thus, she returned to her household duties. Vishnu Purana 5.6.15. The leaders of the community could not believe what they were seeing. They only saw danger. They only saw Krishna at the center. They thought to move to Vrindavan to alleviate the risk of the fault dosha of earthly calamities. Their care and concern was appreciated. We might think they were being fooled by the external events, but their knowledge of Krishna was enough to maintain his association. That is the true boon of liberation. Uchuro vyavasit matin gopan gopish balaka. Rudtanen paden kshipta metan sanshay. Quote, the assembled cowherd men and ladies began to contemplate how this thing had happened. Is it the work of some demon or evil planet? They asked. At that time, the small children present asserted that the cart had been kicked apart by the baby Krishna. As soon as the crying baby had kicked the cart's wheel, the cart had collapsed. There was no doubt about it. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.7.9. In closing, when in liberation set, boon of association get, not that everything to know, like when Vrindavan to go. Despite report from children received, version of events not believed. Because of Yog Maya at play, better in other place to stay.